So the final game of the weekend that I'm going to be covering is Wales up against South Africa. I'm pretty pumped for this one. This is probably the game that I'm most looking forward to this weekend, because it's number 3 up against number 5. From a Welsh point of view, people have been questioning whether Wales are good enough to actually sit number 3 in the world. And a win at home over South Africa, who are a team on the rise, would basically put that middle finger to all those doubters and say, yep, we're here. What are you going to do about it? Because Wales have been in good form, man. I know some people have not been that impressed, but part of that's probably just looking at the results on paper and not watching the games, because from what I've seen of Wales so far, I mean, obviously that win over Tonga was massive in terms of scoreline, but you know, the win over Scotland was a suffocating effort, and the Scots attack just had nothing to really be able to break the Welsh down. And that win over Australia was battle to the back rows. So I know on paper that doesn't look sexy when you see a result that's 9-6, but it was controlled stuff. So I'm taking nothing away from that Welsh team. But then again, from a South African point of view, if they win this game, they jump into 3rd. They take Wales' spot. No matter what happens with the English-Australia game, as some people pointed out in the comments, I had a look at the calculator. Looks to be correct. If South Africa get a win here, they're up into 3rd. And then I think we can really say that the Boks under Rassie are kind of back where they should be. So I'm pretty pumped for this one. I'm totally a neutral party. Like, I mean, I suppose as a Southern guy, I should want the Boks to win, but as a guy with a Welsh surname, I should want the Welsh to win. I just want to see a good game of rugby, and as I say, I'm pretty pumped. I'll put the teams in the description so you guys can have a look. But in terms of recent results, it's been Wales, 4 out of the last 5. And one of those was this year in the US. I think, was that Rassie's first game in charge? It was a bit of a stinker from memory, that game. I don't even think I saw the whole game. I saw the highlights of it. And basically all the papers wrote about it, and the highlights were pretty dull, and all the papers wrote that it was a pretty poor game. But Wales got a win without a lot of their big guns as well. So it was a good win for Wales. And I think it was 22-20. And then, yeah, average score has been 21 points to 17 over the last 5 games. So tight matches between these two teams. But South Africa's not in poor form. They only just lost to England. And of late, South Africa's not been the best touring team. But they only just lost to England in a real controversial finish. They beat Scotland and they beat France at the Dare. So it's a South African team that doesn't give up. That's why I'm excited, man. It's a Welsh team which just teams can't break down, against a South African team which just seems to have the heart of a lion and are finally starting to click all their pieces together. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. Like Rassie, who's not been in charge that long, against Gats, who's been in charge for as long as I can remember. In terms of the teams, as I said, in the description, George North is back. So that's very cool news. He's on the right wing. Liam Williams is in at fullback because Halfpenny, I think he's got concussion. So he's not playing. Anscombe stays on at 10. I didn't see the game last week, but he played at 10 against the Wallabies. So Biggar's on the bench. The back row, you've still got Moriarty there at 8, Tipuric at 7, and Lydiate's at 6. So, man, that's a good-looking back row. They're going to be all over the South Africans at the breakdown. But then you look at that Bok team. You got Khaleesi, who has been clearing out breakdowns like a madman. That's definitely the task that he gets given. He just blows guys out, and they go flying when he hits those rucks. So watch out for him. He's probably lucky to be playing after that wee headbutting incident against Scotland, which I didn't see in-game. I only saw about it after, but he didn't get cited, so he's a very lucky boy to be playing. But yeah, it's a pretty stable team. I don't think there's many changes for the Boks. They've still got Papier playing at 9. They decided not to call up Faf de Klerk, so that's an endorsement of the game that he played against Scotland last week. I had him on my dream team, so I thought he was pretty good. Etzebeth is one of the changes who's back, so Dyantyi is out from the bench and Etzebeth comes back on the bench. So the locking duo is still Snyman and Mostert, which did pretty well last week. The back row is Kolisi, Dutoy, and Vermeulen. So that's another pretty bloody good back row. Very keen to see how these guys go against each other. Scrum time should be interesting. You know, Francis, Owens, and Smith up against Kitsoff, Marks, and Malherbe. Malherbe's been better than I think he gets a bit of credit for this year as well. When he was initially selected, he got a bit of stick, but he's actually been a pretty reliable number 3 for the Boks so far this year. So yeah, oh, what are the bookies odds? Don't throw my paper away yet. Bookies are saying Wales by 1. Wales by 1. So they almost can't pick a favourite. That's why I'm excited. Yeah. Rubbing my hands with glee. It should be a cracker of a game. It should be close. It may not be a high scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's fairly low scoring, but don't let that fool you. There's still plenty of entertainment on display if you don't mind seeing guys get blown at a rucks or turned over as a breakdown and just fun rugby stuff. Anyway, I better cut this off. It's already 6 minutes. You guys let me know. Have a look at the teams in the description, how you think they're going to go, what you think the scoreline is going to be like. Do you think 1 point is a pretty fair reflection? As I said, the Boks don't have the best record of against the Welsh of late, but they do have a fairly good touring record. You know, this November so far, but nobody's been beaten Wales. So you guys let me know how you think it's going to go, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.